Hey, deserving listeners, 90 Day Fiancé, The Single Life. Let's watch.
The relationship between Ed and Liz seems to be very, very concerning. He preferred to be in a toxic relationship and to be with someone than to be solo and happy.
All right, interesting. So Ed's date, Mia, is hearing the details of Ed's past relationship in which there were 8 breakups. I think she even learned that Ed initiated each of those 8 breakups. And she is narrativizing it, I think wisely so. It's interesting that he would be involved, stay in a relationship that was toxic. She's using that word. I think, I feel like toxic is being thrown around a lot lately. Maybe I should do a deep dive on it at some point to figure out like how it's being used in culture. I think typically what people are talking about is like, sort of connected but conflictual, harmful to both people or harmful to one person. Very negative relationship, very unwise relationship. Anyway, so abusive relationship. But I think she's using the word toxic just to mean like, really conflictual and ill-advised to stay in it. So she's saying, red flag. What is it about him that would cause him to do that? Now, when you're dating people and you come across someone like that who says something, I don't think that's an automatic huge red flag, but let's see what Mia says.
Divorced in July of last year.
Okay. Sorry about that.
It is what it is. It needed to happen.
Okay. And how are you doing with that?
I'm learning about myself. It's a whole rebirth process, finding out who you are, what you like, what you want, what you need.
So the date seems to be it seems to have taken a turn. They seem to be, I don't know, during the swing dance class, they seemed to be having a little bit of awkwardness there. But she seems kind of standoffish, or she's kind of made up in her mind, like, I don't know about this guy. Or she's just on a first date and she's like, I'm going to take it slow. We see Ed kind of doing his regular thing, trying to be charming, and maybe even, love bombing a little bit. Not a lot, but maybe trying to get inroads into that. When he disclosed about his past relationship, he starts to cry. I want to encourage people to be able to cry and express themselves in various situations, so I'm not going to stigmatize that at all. It's a very healthy thing that Ed did, really, if he felt like he needed to do it at the time. And she said, don't cry, and it's like, why? Like, why can't he cry? If you don't want to really encourage the conversation, you just listen, but you don't have to say, stop crying or don't cry. But anyway, so he could have been testing the waters. He might be in this pattern of, be emotional, suck someone in, then, kind of start roping them in. Now, I've talked about what love bombing usually is. It's usually involuntary. It's usually subconscious in that you're so desperate for closeness. My hypothesis about Ed is that he deep down believes he is extremely worthless. Like a big part of his personality is convinced that he is a worthless human being, unlovable. No one will ever want him. And the way he might compensate for that, and a lot of people compensate for that by love bombing, but it's subconscious. It's not something they're like, ha ha ha, I'm going to love bomb this. Love bombing is defined by, being extremely lovey towards someone, lots of showering of gifts and or compliments, and also moving very fast. Let's get married, let's have kids. And it, just overwhelms the victim of it, or the recipient of it, to the point where they go along with things that they wouldn't normally, and then it usually ends at some point. It usually isn't, because there's a difference between falling in love, and I go into the full deep dive on this. I go into it in the full deep dive, that when you fall in love, there's a lot of love and a lot of like, oh my God, you're the best. But love bombers will get upset when you push back. If two people fall in love and they're like, and one person is like, I want to move in, and the other person's like, ooh, that's a little fast, but okay. It's not necessarily love bombing. It's love bombing if the recipient kind of pushes back and say, hey, yeah, I love you too, but I don't want to move in yet. Can we just take things a little slow? The love bomber will get upset about that. They won't have flexibility to that. And so he seemed to be doing that with Liz, from what we saw on last season. I can't really know that, but it certainly kind of looked that way. And people resort to that when, one, they're just like, they feel worthless there's various different roads to love bombing, but if you feel worthless and you finally meet someone that might be treating you a little well, you're just like, oh my God, I want more and more and more of you because you make me feel not worthless, something that I feel all the time. So please, let's move in. I just want you all the time, right? And it's more of a neediness rather than a being in love with someone, right? So I don't know if that's happening, but I'm guessing that this is the first and last date they're going to go on. One, because of their chemistry. Two, because I don't think that Big Ed is going to like her, given the way that she's responding to him.
So I am learning.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of you. I'm sorry. You're awesome.
Well, that's interesting. So, he's joking, but it obviously falls in line with what I was just saying. You're awesome. I'm not worthy. So I wonder if what's happening here. I wonder if he's idealizing her or just joking. Let's watch.
Thank you.
I like you. I have another awesome reason to come to Vegas. And I mean that.
Yeah, this seems a little love bomby to me. They're on the first date. They barely know each other. There's, from my observation, zero chemistry. Even during the swing dance class, it seemed like I was like, I don't think they like each other. And this seems really out of nowhere, doesn't it? Like he's intense eye contact and I'm serious. I like you. And now, is it love bombing? Is it sort of precursor to love bombing? Could be. Is it desperation for please love me? Is it just that he really loves her? I don't know. The way that it comes across, it seems like either he's desperately trying to get her to like him, by like being charming and really pouring on because this worked with Rose, it worked with Liz, this exact thing. I don't think it's going to work with her. And some people say, well, it's because of her age. I don't think that. I think it's just her personality. I'm guessing when she was 22, it wouldn't have worked on her either. And worked on her sounds bad. I'm not going to say that this is a manipulation per se. It could be, but it is interesting. Let's continue. Let's rewind this because I want to take note of what's happening right here because it's a little interesting.
I'm not worthy of you. I'm sorry. You're awesome.
Thank you.
I like you. I have another awesome reason to come to Vegas. And I mean that.
I mean, okay, maybe he's just in love or he's in like and he just is infatuated. He's like enamored with her. Okay. But there's another possibility that he feels some distance because she definitely doesn't seem to be reciprocating this vibe with him. And also, Liz didn't really either in the beginning, although Liz was way more receptive, seemingly. But anyway, so with Ed, is this his way of trying to get people to put their guard down so that he can feel more comfortable with someone? I don't know. It's. What do you think? Let me know in the comments.
Okay.
So I guess the next question is, can we go out again?
Maybe.
Anyways, well, thank you again.
Yeah, she doesn't. Would you like to go out again? Maybe. I wonder if. So here's my best hypothesis, and I of course can't know. I'd have to ask Ed, but I think he was detecting distance and detecting resistance from her, and it didn't make him very comfortable. And so, in order to feel comfortable, he needs to feel like you like me, right? And so he sort of attached a lot to like, well, if we go on a second date, then that means that she likes me. And actually, that might kind of explain his love bombing with Liz as well, that if she wants to move in with me, she likes me. If she wants to get married, she likes me. If she wants to do this, it's like, I need evidence. I need hard evidence that, you love me, because I don't believe I'm lovable. And in this moment, he's trying to get her to agree to go on a second date. He kind of knows he's gearing up for that because they're at the end, that you can see the food boxed up there. And he's like, okay, well, I don't think she's going to say yes to a second date. How do I get her to say yes? Well, maybe if I use what I have used in the past, maybe it'll work here. And it didn't seem to work. So, first date, awkwardness. But the core of this is that he's in therapy, and I hope that they're working on that, if that is a thing. I don't know if it's a thing, though.
Let's go. I've learned that I can date closer to my age. I don't have to be with a young person in their 20s. I don't have to have that, which for me is huge. So I asked me on a second date, but she didn't say yes. I would love.
So he's framing it as dating someone his age. I think she's at least 10 years younger than him. So you're not dating someone in terms of the cultural definition of your age. It would be, I think he's mid-50s. So you're not dating someone your age, Ed. You're still dating someone quite younger than you, which is fine. It was fine before. It's fine now.
And get to know her more. This was fun.
It was. Thank you so much.
Have a good night. Have fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
It's interesting to see him swing and miss, because we haven't seen that yet. And it'll be interesting to see how he reacts to it. Is he just like, well, what are you going to do? Or does something else happen? Let's watch.
Stops or something like that. That's what I'm feeling right now.
Holy shit. What is that? Is this normal? Like, is this Colombia or what?
Okay, so I think a lightning bolt hit very close to them while they were talking. And one could say, is that a good or bad omen for this relationship? You make the call. Tell me in the comments below. Because you could say it's God saying, no, not my, I don't give my blessing to this. Or it could be like hot and fiery relationship that lightning bolts even happen. There's so much electricity between them that lightning happens. I don't know. All right, well, that is it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself, because you deserve it. You really, really do.